Welcome to Conversations. I'm Robin Fahr. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to spend the whole half hour talking about something that's just near and dear to my heart, and that's dogs and taking care of them and teaching them to be not human, but to be so that we can take them anywhere we want to take them. And to do that for us today is the Dog Talk Diva herself, Camilla Gray-Nelson. We and her precious little sidekick, Tiba. Welcome to Conversations. Great to have you guys here today.
It's our pleasure. Oh, I'm speaking for Tiba, but I think it's our pleasure.
I think it is her pleasure too. I went out to say hello to her, and she's just exactly what you want your dog, you know, for some people, it's like their child, to be when a stranger comes up that is clearly friendly, and if the stranger knows what he or she is doing, and I believe that I do, she just responded in such a way, they're welcome anywhere. Isn't that the whole trick?
The joy of a well-behaved dog.
Exactly.
It's not only better for the owner, but it opens up a world of opportunities and social interaction for the canine too.
Right, exactly right, which is so important. Tell us a little bit then what exactly you do, and then I'm going to just bring in a lot of personal experiences of my own, because I know that what you're telling is so true because I've done it and it really does work. So tell us a little bit what you do and the kinds of people that call you.
I am a dog trainer. Didn't start out to be a dog trainer, but life happens, you know.
Yes, it sure does.
You follow your talent, I suppose. And I work with pet owners. I deal mostly with people with a family dog that's out of control. By virtue of the fact that most households leave the dog responsibility to a woman, I have become an expert in helping women control the family dog, which is, it is a niche, a necessary niche in the dog training market, I find. And I help them learn how not just to teach their dog to sit, because you know what? It's not about sit.
No.
Not if you want a dog to listen to you. What people really want is a dog that won't jump on the visitors, will come when they call, will stop what they're doing when the owner asks, without having to raise your voice and scream.
Right.
Which I'll explain later why that is absolutely the wrong thing to do, but
right, okay.
That's what I do.
Let me, this is exactly, my daughter got a golden retriever that she got from the rescue. She went on to the rescue, and I think within days they said, would you come out and meet this little guy? His name is Webster, 2.5 years old, and had just a beautiful dog, but nobody had really cared too much about Webster. I think it was the novelty of getting Webster when he was a butterball little fun little puppy. And then the family got busy, and so Webster lived most of his life in a garage. Hadn't been in a car, had no idea what that was all about. And so anyway, they realized they weren't doing a very good job, and so luckily called Golden Retriever Rescue. My daughter gets to go and meet him, falls in love with him immediately, but boy did she have a task on her hands. This little animal had not been socialized, didn't know how to be with other dogs, like I said, didn't even know what the car was like. And so it's been really frustrating, but that's the kind of thing we're talking about, isn't it?
It is. And most of my women clients come to me and confess that they are so upset, so frazzled, so at their wits' end, and they're embarrassed to say it, that they think they're the only one. And when I share with them, oh, you're not the only one. It's a common malady. I hear it over and over again, every week, every month, every year, and I help them get their life organized, back together, in control, calm everybody down, and get the results they want with their dog. And it's not as complicated, luckily, as people think it's going to be, nor does it take as much time.
No, and that's, I have to say, watching my daughter, it just didn't. I mean, she did get some help, and she lives away from here, and she did get some help with him, and now it's just an absolute pleasure. But what are some of the, let's just go over the doggy training basics. There's the idea that some people, if the dog urinates in the house, they're rubbing the dog's face in it. I mean, I have heard of so many disciplinary punishment, really, would be the way. And I'm not seeing a real change in behavior. What are people doing wrong?
Oh, that's a complex question. We could speak half an hour on that question. First of all, let me distinguish between training and obedience. Most people lump the two together, and they are not at all related. Not at all related. Training is what the dog learns cognitively, but obedience is what they do when they'd rather not. So the secret to having a well-behaved dog is a dog that will actually listen to you. That's obedience. Do you know that I never teach my own dogs to sit or to down?
Really? Because you don't really
and they're
need
perfectly behaved.
Yeah.
What I do is what dogs do in their own culture, and that is I set behavioral boundaries. What a dog wants to know more than anything, I'm going to set one right now. I just trained my dog that I'm the boss. I said, don't lick me. I don't allow that. And I let her figure out a suitable alternative. The basic question a dog wants to know is, what's my place in this family? Who sets the rules and what are mine? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once you establish that, a dog will actually listen to you. If they know that you're the one that sets the rules, and you have to enforce the rules for there to be a rule,
right.
That is how you get a dog to listen to you, a dog to be well behaved. Because as long as you can say to any behavior you don't care for, oh, we don't do that, darling. As long as you can say that and be effective, you have a well-behaved dog.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm setting a rule right now. If she wants to get off of my lap, I'm not going to let her. I just won. I make the rule.
And doesn't she want to please you? Isn't that also part of the doggy thing? No, they don't? Oh, I just thought they just really wanted to please.
No.
And so you just had to tell them what that would look like and they do it. Okay.
As a matter of fact, that's one of the most commonly held misconceptions about dogs, which actually causes great angst and great consternation in an owner. When their dog does not act like they want to please them, they get upset because they think all dogs should be lassie. A dog is an animal. A dog wants to please itself. And so, isn't that right?
You're talking about me? Yes, we are.
So the trick is to make what you want the dog to do seem like the dog's idea and in the dog's best interest. But if a dog sits for you, it's not the sitting that makes the dog happy, not you being pleased. It's the fact that now you give it a cookie or now you pet it. So the dog always has an ulterior motive.
Okay.
But that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. It's very much like people. I mean, that's not... When you see the movie Big Fat Greek Wedding where they're trying to get the father to believe he's come up with something, that's what you just said.
That's exactly. As a matter of fact, I always say dogs are more like people and people are more like dogs than you have any idea.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And they're so smart. What is the most common thing that you get a call about when people say, you know, is it jumping on friends when they come over? Is it barking incessantly? What is the behavior that seems to give the most consternation?
Well, the top three are always pulling on the leash, jumping on the guest or on you, and not coming when called. That's the... You know, that's
the
sort of
that's the perfect storm.
Of the that's the perfect storm. But it really boils down to the dog just not listening, not obeying when it's important. Then what happens? I'll tell you the most common mistake people make, women in particular, is they raise their voice and they get tough. They get really tough, physically tough, verbally tough. That's actually your downfall, and here's the reason why. This is my farm girl background now. In nature, the mark of the true top dog, or you know, when I was looking at the cattle and the horses, the lead horse, the top cow, the mark of that top status individual was the fact that they never got perturbed. They were quiet and focused and smart and got what they wanted without conflict. And when you raise your voice, you are the antithesis of confident. You are worried. You're in a corner. You're out of options, and now all you know how to do is yell. And the animal looks at you and goes, oh, you're the imposter. You're not the leader. And they ignore you. So you have just destroyed your leadership capability with that animal when you have lost your cool.
Wow. Now, can you get it back?
Of course you can.
If people who are watching this and going, oh my goodness, I've been doing it all wrong this time.
Absolutely.
You can teach an old dog new tricks. You can get back to being the leader again.
Exactly. It's just about setting a boundary and enforcing it. Setting a rule and making it happen. And really what that's about is about being quiet, but being clever. And as long as you get your way at the end of the day, with all the little, a dog's life is full of small, little challenges where they're testing authority and they're asking non-verbally, are you the boss or am I?
Yeah.
My way or your way? Even in this little exchange right here.
All the time? So
all the time.
Tiba hasn't just already established that you're the boss. I mean, she's constantly
throughout the day.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
Okay.
There's hundreds and hundreds of small little interactions. For example, when someone holds a dog on their lap and the dog wants to get off, most people just let the dog get off. But what you could do is say, not right now, darling. I decide when you get off. And when they stop trying, you let them off. If they try to jump on you, stop pushing your dog off, because pushing is touching, and dogs love to be touched. And then if you start yelling about it, then they go, yee-haw, I've got her now. So instead, you just disallow the jumping. And I have a few little props with me. I'll show you how to use those. But it's a series of, no, I make the rules, honey.
Yeah.
I make the rules. And at the end of the day, the dog is tallying up all of your interactions, all your small interactions, and they're going to say, dog 3, earner 7. Okay,
yeah.
She owned her 1 today. And it's that consistency of you getting your way that makes your status. Status in the animal kingdom is not determined through fighting or aggression. That is a widely held misbelief. I can see how people would think that if their only information about nature comes from television.
Right.
No offense intended.
Right.
Nature channels, because that's compelling television to see 2 rival males locked in mortal combat.
Right.
But that's the exception, not the rule.
We're going to take a quick break. We're talking with Camilla Gray-Nelson, the Dog Talk Diva. I've just got to give you her website real quick, dogtalkdiva.com, and a phone number, 707-762-6111. If you've got an unruly dog at home, or maybe a new dog that just needs to learn from the beginning, this is who you want to call. We're going to be talking more with Camilla Gray-Nelson in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we're talking with Camilla Gray-Nelson, the Dog Talk Diva, and she's got her perfect little prop with her, Tiba. And we're just really talking about taking, kind of control, I guess, is what it really comes down to, without getting upset about it. This is so much like parenting, isn't it?
It's because we are all animals, social animals, at our core.
Yeah.
And I believe that, it's a whole other subject, but as people, we react first from our animal instinct, and then our brain kicks in. So we are indeed, we're brothers under the skin, with dogs.
Absolutely. So people come to you, they can do phone consultations with you. That's one of the things that they can call up and say, here's what's going wrong, and just talking with them, you can give them some solutions.
Indeed, I can.
Marvelous. That's
Indeed.
wonderful. The other way, people come to you. You have your hour-long fix-it-fast moments where they really need to get this dog under control. They come to you, and that's at your place of business.
At my facility, which is Dairy Dell Canine. It's a Doggy Dude Ranch and Training Center, conveniently located in Petaluma, right off the freeway. Yes, we do fix-it-fast consultations. We do group classes for the people that are more local to Petaluma. But what we're best known for is actually our live-in finishing school for dogs, where not only do we professionally train the dog, but obviously we train the owner.
Yes.
Because there's so many things. I mean, it's never the dog.
Right.
It's always always pilot error. Dogs can only be dogs.
Right.
They can only be dogs. That's enough.
Now they have a personality that you won't change that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Training is not the be-all end-all panacea. It's part of the picture. But it will not change the basic personality of a dog. If your dog is timid by nature, it'll still be timid after training, but it will learn to defer to you some of that fear of life because you've proven that you're a consistent, unflappable, capable leader, and you've got its back.
Let me ask you a very specific question. You've gone to the doggy park with your dog, and everybody's off leash, and it's legal, so yes, you take your dog off leash. Something occurs. There is a dog there that your dog doesn't like, or who knows what's going on in their minds, but suddenly you're no longer in control, your dog is off leash and having a scuffle with another dog, and it's just starting to get ugly. What do you do? I mean, are they going to listen to you even with training, or is this moment that they're in way more important than the master's voice?
Well, first I would say you were never in control.
Okay, so that's okay. So that behavior meant that this. Okay, good to know.
You were never in control.
Okay.
You know you're in control only when the dog has another idea and you can't stop your dog. Other than that, the dog's just doing what a dog wants to do. And you may blissfully be in a sense of denial that you have perfect control over your dog, but you won't know until he starts to take off after another dog and you can't stop them. Then that's where the rubber meets the road. So that said, there are certain drives in an animal's nature that, quite frankly, training is no match for. Pardon the grammar, but no.
For which training is no match.
For which training is no match. Thank you very much. But most situations, well, for example, I would never take my dog off leash as a dog trainer until that dog is absolutely voice controlled for me. That's just something I don't do.
So no matter what would be going on, your voice would be able to turn him or her around.
Stop the dog, bring it back.
Okay.
That's what I do. I mean, voice training is what I do.
That's where you have to get to before you get these other privileges.
And that has nothing to do with sit.
Yes, no.
That's about who's in charge, who has power, who makes the rules, and that foundation is laid at the very base of your relationship with your dog, upon which you build. If you don't answer the who makes the rules in the family question, all the sits, all the stays, all the heels in the world are not going to produce an obedient dog. You will have a lovely trained performance.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You will have a trained performance, but you will not have a dog that truly believes that you call the shots. It's an interesting dichotomy that needs to be understood in its two separate. They're both valuable. Don't get me wrong. I love a dog that comes and sits smartly and heels smartly through a crowd. I love that. But I don't fool myself and think I have an obedient dog just because it's healing.
Right, right. It's about being in charge.
It's about who's in charge.
You brought a few little props with you. Tell us about that. And then I want to ask you about rewarding with treats.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know whether that's the right thing or what. So tell us what you got here.
So really, having your dog believe you're the leader is all about boundaries. Now, you can separate boundaries into active boundaries and passive boundaries. Rules for the dog's behavior. You can actively say, for example, I don't allow you to jump on me. Don't jump on me. That's an active boundary. That you can actually enforce with a little penny can. Sorry, she hates these, so just a little like that. She says, "Ooh, I didn't. It wasn't fair because she didn't do anything."
Right.
This is like the mama dog's bark.
Oh, really?
Does
it sound different to them than it does to us, or is it just that sound of metal hitting?
It's sudden and sort of sharp and sudden, and that's sort of what a dog bark sounds like. But if it's attached to a behavior, this is the result of that behavior. They go, "Oh, okay, she's not allowing me." I know she just doesn't.
She just really thinks she's done something wrong.
I know, it wasn't fair.
Yes. Sorry about that, Tiba. Punishing her for something she didn't.
This is a really sensitive dog.
Oh, it's okay, Tiba. We were just joking about that whole
we were just joking, and then you got my little
poor baby. Yeah.
So anyway, that is a boundary, an active boundary.
That is very impressive, I've got to say, Camilla.
Very,
just bring it out.
Yeah, but you know,
not
but
fair.
that shows you that sensitive dogs are really looking for, okay, well, what did I just do there?
Yeah.
Did maybe she not like the fact that I was on her lap? Maybe I better get off her lap, because that was a I don't allow that message from the boss.
Yeah.
So she was just trying to figure out, well, what can I do then?
Right. So you have to do that immediately after the behavior that you don't want to have happen, right? I mean,
when you walk in the door, or your keys. You could take your keys and go, just little noise, right here, going, which means, oh, sweetheart, I just don't allow you to jump on me. Yeah. Because jumping, as an aside, in the dog world is a ranking ritual.
Oh,
did you know that?
No.
If you allow yourself to be jumped on, you are subordinate.
Oh, my goodness.
If you don't, you are dominant. So by allowing your dog to jump on you, you are subordinate to the dog. By not allowing it, you rise to the leader status, and all it took was, don't jump on me.
Right, you didn't get hair all over your clothes
That's
either.
Right. Now there's passive boundaries as well. Typical busy mom. The kids are home from school. You know, it's dinner. Dinner's getting fixed. It is chaos, and then you add the dog. It's like over the top, and they're screaming, and the kids are screaming. Passive boundaries are when you say to the dog, "You stay right there while I fix dinner," but you aren't there to actively enforce it. That's when something like a tether, which you can attach to the dog's collar, and then to something solid by the wall, put a little dog bed down, just say, you know, you're there now. That is a passive way to enforce a boundary, because this enforces the boundary for you, but the dog is still not able to run all around.
Does the dogs feel they're restricted by that? I mean,
of course it does.
So but is it like a punishment to them? Okay, it's barely a boundary.
It's a boundary. It is only punishment if you make it punishment.
Oh, that's with the yelling and all of that.
Or not even yelling, just the vitriol, the frown that comes on the face, and the taking the dog over there like it did something wrong. It doesn't do anything wrong. You keep the smile on your face and enforce your boundaries. My favorite phrase at work is, "My serenity is my power."
Clearly. Yeah, clearly. Do you believe that you can never swat a dog on the nose or anything like that to say, no, that particular behavior was wrong? Do you ever do that?
I try to stay away from that. First of all, I never use the word no.
Okay.
No is not in my vocabulary, because it's too easy to start morphing into the wicked witch. It's too easy to start sounding angry, which again works against me in terms of my power, makes me seem weak and desperate. So there's other ways to establish the don't do that than getting physical with a dog. Okay. It's too close to morphing over into punishment. Well, then everything will go to heck in a handbasket.
Yeah, and that's
now,
what we're
on
avoiding.
The other hand, remember, you want to encourage the dog to do things that you want them to do. Reward those behavior choices that you like.
Yes.
And to do that, you can indeed give the dog a treat when it does something that's good, that you want them to keep repeating. But personally, what I find is that once a dog knows that I'm the leader, my praise to the dog becomes like candy.
Oh, that's the treat,
and
isn't
it's
it?
the most beautiful, easy, lovely, natural way to train a dog. When you say, good girl, the dog just looks up at you as if to say, she likes me. She really likes me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like you've fulfilled their, because you have status.
Yes.
Noise from a schmo, you know, praise from a schmo is just noise.
Right.
But praise from a leader, now that is valuable. But I do use treats, especially in the come command.
Okay.
I want that dog to really enjoy that result.
And we're almost out of time, but when you deal with women, are you teaching them to be more like male leaders, or are you basically saying, no, take your femaleness and turn that into your power?
Women cannot train like not pretend to be a man, because the dog, they get real loud and real, you know, macho. The dog looks at them like, are you kidding? I have eyes. I know you're not a man. So you pull from other leadership skills.
Yes.
The consistency, the patience, the tenacity, the not letting it go until you get it your way. And being setting those boundaries like you would with raising a child.
Right, exactly.
And it's just as important to keep your temper under control with either children or with dogs. But that's how you do it. So what I do with women, most of the time I'm saying, stop sounding crabby, stop yelling, stand up tall so you look confident. Your mother wasn't the only one that
saying
told you
shoulders
that,
back,
you know?
right?
Right? Because that's a look of confidence. And so that's what I do.
I love it.
Avoiding things that sap your power.
Well, and look at how happy you are. I mean, who wants to carry around all of that anger? It's the same with raising children. I always raised mine love and logic. You know, gee, I'm sorry you did that, because now we have to do this.
There you go. Option A, option B.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. So, and it takes, you know, you're no longer the bad guy. You're just simply enforcing, and with that, what you said would happen. This is Camilla Gray-Nelson. If you have a dog or know somebody with a dog that just needs a little bit of help, you have got to call her. She's the Dog Talk Diva. Check out her website, www.dogtalkdiva, that's DOGTALKDIVA.com, or give her a call, 707-762-6111, and find out what you can do. It just sounds like everybody can have a well-behaved dog, and that's the whole point. That's why we have dogs. It's not a requirement in life. It should be a joy, right?
A joy.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. Tiba, you were wonderful, and I'm feeling terrible about the whole penny jar thing. She'll get over that.
Yeah,
all right, great to see both of you. And that'll do it for Conversations this week. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. We'll do it again. Until then, I'm Robin Fahr. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like to order a copy of this show, please visit our website at trivalleytv.org.